episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast is sponsored by the Keep It Real Challenge. If you want to learn my process for how I record and edit a month of reels in 1 hour, that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in the Keep It Real Challenge. This is something that I do all the time. So over a 5-day period, I'm going to be taking you through my process of research, planning, finding my audio, setting my goals, choosing outfits, everything, recording and editing, everything that you need to know about creating reels is going to be in that challenge, because I don't know if you've heard, but reels is the new wave on Instagram, and it's a surefire way to increase your visibility and engagement on the platform. So if you haven't been doing reels, you definitely want to jump on the bandwagon, okay? And at the end of the Keep It Real Challenge, you have the opportunity to enter the Keep It Real bonus, where you'll have the chance to win $100 for creating a reel, okay? So all of the details are going to be inside of the challenge. I don't want to give away too much information, but what you need to do right now, if you're interested, is text me at 202-519-4652. Text me the words challenge accepted if you want more information on how to enter that challenge when details are dropped. You'll be the first to know, okay? I hope to see you in the Keep It Real Challenge. Now, let's get back to the episode. I was so concerned with stepping outside of myself and trying to get somebody who's just like, popping in my eyes. But what you have to realize, and what I have to continue to realize too, is that there's somebody who desires to get to where you are right now. No matter where you are in your journey, there's somebody who wants to be exactly where you are. You are enough right now. I am enough. And I had to tell myself that. I'm still working on, my affirmations. I journal. I express my gratitude every day. But sometimes, you need a reminder. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Aquia Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives just like you on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here with me, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join our community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. What I like to do is something called the Friends in Beauty Friday feature, where every Friday I spotlight a different friend in beauty and their accomplishments. So no matter how big or small you think it is, I want to shout you out. I want to send you some good vibes. So all you have to do is use the hashtag FIB Friday feature, tag Friends in Beauty on something that you have accomplished, and I'll share it with the community. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, YouTube, you name it. And whatever platform you are listening from right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends in Beauty podcast. I truly appreciate you so much. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, a comment, a like, a share, a subscribe, or something to let me know how you feel about the Friends in Beauty podcast. I would absolutely love it. And also, I have to tell you that you should join the Friends in Beauty mailing list tribe if you haven't already, because they are the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different business resources, tips, and advice throughout the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, the link for that will be in the description as well. And last but not least, the most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share away to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. Now, today on the Friends in Beauty podcast, I am so excited because today is the 100th episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, and I am completely blown away. When I set out to do a podcast, of course, my intention was to be consistent, but it's like, wow, 100? It doesn't even feel like I've done 100 episodes, and I just absolutely love it because if you're a frequent listener of the podcast, or if you tune into me a lot, then you know that I always say anytime that I do an episode of the podcast, I mark that as, okay, this is how many weeks I've been consistent, because I have never missed uploading an episode since I started the podcast. I said, okay, I'm going to upload episodes every Wednesday, right? And despite whatever has been going on in my personal life and technical difficulties and all of that stuff, I have not missed one episode. So that means I have been consistent with something for 100 weeks. And that's a big deal. That is pretty much a big deal because, consistency is one of those things that is very hard. But what I'm learning is that consistency comes a lot easier when you're doing something that you love. And I absolutely love doing the podcast. And anytime that I do solo episodes, I never really know, what I want to talk about at all. I never know what I want to talk about. And it really is just like an organic conversation, like a brain dump. Sometimes I might write a little bit of notes just to make sure I hit on certain things, but it really just is me just speaking to you all from the heart, right? And today I wanted to do something a little bit different and have a little bit of guidance with this episode. So I pulled out my pod decks, and I have a pod deck that is like an episode deck, interview deck, and I always use the other ones for my icebreakers, but this time I pulled out my episode deck, and I said, let me see what this thing is going to tell me to do today. And the card that I picked out for today is to reintroduce yourself to your audience, which I feel like is so cool that card came out today, because episode 1 of the Friends of Beauty podcast is me sharing my story with you all. So it's only right that for episode 100, I can kind of recap just a few of the highlights, because it's one thing I can say before I jump into that is that if you are still pretty fresh or pretty new in your journey, or even wherever you are right now, please start taking note of the things that you have accomplished. And we're going to talk about mini wins in a minute, but take into account the things that you have accomplished, because as you go on into your journey, it becomes a little bit difficult to recount all of the amazing things that you have done. And when you're not celebrating yourself on a consistent basis, or if you're not taking into account those wins that you have, a lot of times it could feel like you're not making progress at all, and you really are. So, just take whatever way that you have to do, just take note of all of the things that you're doing, right? So how can I start off? How can I reintroduce myself to my audience? So, of course, my name is Aquia Robinson. I am born and raised in Washington, D.C. If you hear my accent, that is where the accent comes from. Sometimes it slips out on the podcast, and I'm like, ooh, I sounded real D.C. just now. And sometimes I'm trying to just articulate myself so that, everyone can understand me. But people who know me know that I don't really have a really thick DC accent, but I do have an accent. So I'm born and raised in Washington, DC. I come from a big family. I have 6 brothers, 5 sisters, I believe, off the top of my head. I hope I ain't missing nobody. But I have 30-something nieces and nephews, tons of loving aunts and uncles and extended family. And I can say that my journey in the beauty industry was not one that was expected, for me at least. I know when I was growing up, my mom is an artist. She's very talented artist. My sister has artistic abilities when it comes to fashion. She used to sew, and she could whip up something in the kitchen. But I always felt like I did not have any artistic abilities until I got older and I discovered makeup. So growing up, makeup was not a thing for me. My mom has never worn makeup. I've never seen my mom wear makeup, but my sister used to, my mom used to let my sister, she's 4 years older than me, experiment with lipsticks and stuff. So she used to try lipsticks on me. So that was the closest thing I had to makeup. My mom would let me wear press-on nails. I still loved my press-on nails when I was a kid. But beauty was not really a big thing for me until I went to high school. So growing up here in DC, I went to all African-centered private schools growing up. And at those schools, we were not allowed to wear makeup. We couldn't paint our nails. Our hair had to be natural. My hair has been natural all my life. I love it. What else? We had to wear African clothes every day, so no jeans, nothing like that. So when I went to high school, that was the opportunity that I had to kind of start to experiment, or I would see the girls, dressed in a certain way, or, doing their nails and their makeup. So that's when I started to like get into makeup. I remember it was this beauty supply store. If you're from DC, I went to Banneker. Shout out to Banneker. It's right across the street from Howard. Well, used to be. They just moved. I just remember they just moved. But the campus I went to was right across the street from Howard University, so it was lit, okay? And after school, walking to the train station, there was this beauty supply store right there on the campus that me and my friends used to stop in and like play in the samples of the eyeshadow and stuff like that. So I remember those days, but makeup was not a thing. Like, it literally was not a thing until I really started to get into makeup as an adult. So even throughout college, I would experiment with like eyeshadow and all that good stuff, but it wasn't a thing. And speaking of college, I did not even want to go to college. I wanted to be a hairstylist because my mom was a braider. When I was younger, I learned how to braid very, very young. I've been doing my own hair since I was like 11. So hair has always been around. So maybe beauty in the sense of hair, but not makeup. I've always been around it in that way. So I wanted to have a hair salon. I wanted to go to cosmetology school, open up a salon, and then like that was going to be my life. But I graduated from high school when I was 17. So my counselor, my mom was like, you need a backup plan, plan B, you need to go to college. I did not want to go to college. Oh my gosh, that's a whole different thing. But I did it, and I don't regret it at all because I've developed skills that, still help me in my business till this day. I have an IT degree for anybody that is wondering. So I'm able to do all of the techie things that most creatives probably have no idea how to do. I'm very techie in that way. But after college, I graduated in 2009, so like pretty much in the thick of the recession, and no one was hiring. People are always surprised. They're like, you have an IT degree. I'm like, yeah, but the recession was real. So no one was hiring. So I worked all types of jobs throughout that time. I used to sell life insurance at one point. I got tired of trying to convince people they would want to die one day and they need to protect their family, so gave up on that and just worked all types of jobs. I think the last job that I actually had, I don't even know if I shared this before, the last job that I had before I went full-time with makeup, I was working at Harris Teeter, y'all, a grocery store. I was working at Harris Teeter, decorating cakes and like doing pastries, making pastries and stuff. And that was fun. That was very artistic and stuff. But yeah, that's what I was doing before I started doing makeup. So recession hit. I got to the point where I was like, okay, what do you want to do that you can make money? I was experimenting with makeup at that time on myself, watching YouTube like everybody else, trying to, experiment, put on lashes and going down and showing my mom, like, look at these lashes hanging off my eye. So I'm the type of person that, if I really want to do something and I want to do it well, I feel like I have to have somebody teach me how to do it, or I need to learn the proper way. So I enrolled in Bennett Career Institute. It's a local cosmetology school here, but they have a 6-week makeup program. And pretty much the rest was history. Episode 2 of the Friends of Beauty podcast, I interviewed Brittany Rogers, who was my teacher at Bennett. So check that out. Awesome episode. But I was definitely not the strongest student in the class at all. I would have meltdowns because I wasn't getting stuff. I would go to the bathroom and cry like, oh my God, I don't know why I'm so terrible. I was dramatic like that. But after that class ended, I pretty much just ran with it and told everybody I was a makeup artist. And Brittany at the time had a connection at this photography studio here in Floresville, Maryland. And always photographers in the studio, always makeup artists in the studio. So she hooked us, me and some of her other students up in there. And that's how I became really, my artistry transformed so quick because I was working with Tyrone Sharp Photographics. Okay, Sharp Photographics. Check him out. But he was so spontaneous that I would literally just be sitting in the house, not doing anything. And he was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." Like, "You want to shoot?" Like, "Sure." So I just grabbed my kit, going down to the studio, work on the models, and just that consistency of me always doing makeup, always touching someone's face, always practicing. My artistry transformed. I literally have pictures that I can pull up that I've done one model like this month, and then maybe like a few months later, the difference is apparent. So that's pretty much how I started out. And I've had so many amazing opportunities. Episode 1 goes into like more detail of my story, but I've had so many amazing opportunities because in the midst of me, building my skill set and everything, what I was also doing that I didn't really realize like this is what it was, but I was networking. I was literally back and forth on the megabus from DC to New York so often, just going to different events, going to the makeup show, just going to classes because they didn't really have stuff like that in DC at the time, like artistry classes. So I would go to New York and I was up there so much that people thought I lived there, like, because you start to see the same people over and over again when you're going to these events. Like the people who want to be in the scene or in the mix, you're going to see them over and over, and people were shocked that I did not live in New York. But I was networking, I was meeting people, I was connecting with people, I was maintaining those relationships, and because of that, I have gotten so many amazing opportunities. And I always say, literally every single major opportunity that I have gotten as a makeup artist has literally come from networking, has come from me meeting somebody, being genuinely curious and being genuinely a nice person and wanting to connect, maintaining that relationship. And then when something happens to come up, they're like, "Oh, let me, Aquia would be great for that. Let me reach out to her." I've had the opportunity to assist Morel Hollis on, he came here for the Celebrity Makeup Artist Symposium at Bennett, and that's where we met. But after that, he invited me to assist him on a Black Opal campaign shoot, an Essence shoot. What else? The Bad Boy reunion concert. I got to work with Total. I've gotten to work on a off-Broadway play in San Francisco. I went there for an entire month, all expenses paid, and I got paid. That was the first time I had ever done something like that. I work on these crazy reality shows, doing the reunions for like Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of Potomac. I've worked with Ashley Darby. So many things. I'm over here just thinking off of the top of my head. But I work with so many amazing brands. I've gotten to work with Danessa Myrick, AJ Crimson, Stila, Minted Cosmetics. Like, it's been lit. It has literally been lit. And like all of these opportunities have come from me just meeting somebody and just putting myself out there. Even the Minted Cosmetics thing, that was a brand that I absolutely love. I still love them, but they came to DC one time and I went to their event and, met their social media person who I was already interacting with, and she introduced me to the founders. Like, it was crazy. So this journey has been very, very interesting. And throughout the midst of that journey, I started to educate. I became an educator. So in 2017, I taught my first class, and I feel like that's when I really realized, like, oh, this is what you're supposed to be doing. I had no idea that I was a teacher. People used to ask me all the time to teach them, to do lessons with them and all of that. But it wasn't until I had that first class. I think I had like 30 people there. That was my goal. I sold out of my first class. And I really feel like that in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be an educator, because I got so much good feedback from that class. Everybody was like, oh my God, I love the way you explain things. I feel like I learned so much, and like, it was just amazing. And ever since then, I've just been teaching. So I've been teaching my own like one-on-one classes, group classes, demo classes, hands-on boot camps. Like, it's been amazing. I even got invited back to Bennett to become their makeup one-on-one instructor. But that ended like right when the pandemic ended. So I haven't been at Bennett since the pandemic, because honestly, I don't know how we gonna do that with masks and everything. But yes, education has been my jam. And because of education led me to creating Friends in Beauty, because I had a coach at the time who we were trying to kind of figure out like what my angle would be. Everybody has something that they're good at, whether it's social media, marketing, all that stuff. So just with me telling her my story, she was like, girl, networking is it. Like, you need to be teaching people how to network. So I had this idea of, doing a networking event. So what happened was I had a coaching program called Beauty Networking Mastery, right? Where I was teaching makeup artists how to strategically network to find their dream clients or just to connect with people in the beauty industry. So when I was building out the program, I like to go above and beyond. I'm one of those people that like to like under promise and over deliver sort of thing. So when I was building out the program, I'm like, well, if I'm teaching them how to network, I should just like totally throw them like a networking event so they can practice everything that they learned, because why not? Like, why not, right? So this one boot camp that I had, I kind of like tested out my networking idea with my students. They absolutely loved it. And then the next time I did it, I had the networking event. So I think it was February 15th. Oh, wow. We just celebrated the anniversary. I didn't even think about it. February 15th, 2019 is when I had the first Friends in Beauty event here in Washington, D.C. And it sold out. Like, it was over 100 people, over 100 Friends in Beauty in the building. And I really want to get my events back to that. Like, that was such a wonderful event. Everybody enjoyed themselves. We did speed networking, which is the style of how I do the Friends in Beauty events. It's always speed networking, and everybody absolutely loved it. So I went on and I did I think I've done 5 Friends in Beauty events since then. And we had our last event prior, literally the day before the shutdown in 2020 was our last event. We had our last event on March 15th, 2020, and the shutdown happened on March 16th. So we have not had any events since then, but I'm excited to say that I do have something coming up, and I'll share that with you a little bit later on. But that's that, right? That's how it's been going. And then since the pandemic happened, I wanted to go on a 14-city tour. I had it all mapped out. I don't know how I was going to do it, but I planned on going city to city with the Friends in Beauty events prior to the pandemic happening. That shut that down because that was going to happen in 2020. So I still plan on going to different cities and everything. But since I wasn't able to get out and connect with my Friends in Beauty in person, I decided to do the Friends in Beauty podcast, okay? Because I have been wanting to do a podcast for so long, because I'm absolutely obsessed with podcasts. That was my life at that time, just especially driving in the car. That's what I would listen to. I would listen to podcasts. So I wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't feel like I had the time to really sit down and do it. And the pandemic happened. So it was just totally perfect. And here we are. I think I launched the podcast on May 5th, 2020. And here we are, February 23rd, 2022, and I'm on my 100th episode. Oh my gosh. So this has been an amazing journey. So many things are continuing to happen for Friends in Beauty, including the Friends with Benefits Club, which is our membership program. And I'm just blown away of how this one idea has transformed into so much, and is continuing to transform into much more, because I have more things that I have in mind for Friends in Beauty that are going to come to fruition as well. But I'm telling you, it does not feel like 100 episodes. And I really feel like if it doesn't feel like that, because consistency is really easier when you're doing something that you love. And I love doing the podcast. And I want us to get into the habit of celebrating the process. In the Friends with Benefits Club, we just finished reading The Practicing Mind. And The Practicing Mind is a book that was gifted to me by one of my old coaches, Marquell Russell. He just sent it in the mail one day, and I thought it was just so cool that he did that. But that book really made me appreciate the journey. We're so focused on the end result so much that we forget that it's all about the little steps that we take to get to the big step. So in the process, in the pursuit of success, in the pursuit of whatever you're trying to achieve, make sure that you celebrate the process. And I want to call them mini wins. That's what my friend Dayana calls them. Anytime that something happens, we always say it's a mini win, like a small win. It's a mini win. And I'm going to start doing mini win Wednesdays on my Instagram, just so that even myself, can get into the habit of really celebrating, really having that vibration, like that universal vibration of like celebration and joy. Because once you celebrate yourself and the universe receives it, or God receives it as you being in gratitude, you're going to get more. You're going to get more. And if you're not celebrating, then what's the, like, energetically, it's almost like, what is the purpose of me making these things happen for this person if they're not going to be appreciative and celebrate it, right? So celebrate your mini wins. What I enjoy about this podcast process, of course, is meeting new people, because once I started getting revved up, so let me say it like this. When I first started doing the podcast, and I still have my list, I had a list of people that I wanted to interview, right? That I want to talk to, that I want to learn more about, right? Very shortly after the podcast launched, people started reaching out to me to be on the podcast. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, we could do this. But it got to the point where, okay, all these people are reaching out, and now I can't even tackle the list of people that I want to talk to. Like, all the people that I'm meeting are cool, of course, but it's still people that I want to talk to too. So I'm very grateful for all of the new people that have come into my atmosphere, and I've been able to infiltrate theirs. Super duper excited about that, because I've learned so much from them, and they're so dope. They're so amazing. These people are freaking amazing. So I'm so excited that I get to meet new people. I get to connect with the people that I admire. People like Morel Hollis, people like Danessa Myricks, Nikki Posley, freaking B-Face Honey sent me some stuff. She's in my DM. She's commenting on my posts now. Like, it just tickles me. And if I missed the name, please don't take that personally. But I'm getting to connect with the people that I admire in this industry. And I get to learn so much from them. I get to learn from them. I get to learn from the new people that I'm meeting, because everybody's story is just so unique. Another thing that I enjoy about the podcast is actually I listen to my episodes. So right now, I'm the one that, still edits and all of that stuff. So, of course, I have to listen to it while I'm editing it. But I also go back and I listen to it again, because there's so many gems that are sprinkled throughout these episodes if you really, really listen. I remember one of the episodes with Danny Tran. I was like, this man literally just dropped a whole blueprint for 6 figures, for $1 million. Like, and that wasn't even what the episode was about. But if you listen closely, he dropped that gem. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm learning in the process as well as you're learning in the process. And I just love hearing the feedback too from all of you all who, jump in my DMs, or if you comment and just share your feedback. I love that, because it's so much of a reassurance that this is something that is needed, and that is the thing that keeps me consistent as well. One of the things that keeps me consistent and keeps me going, because we all go through those challenges where we feel like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just need a break. But what really keeps me going is I'm the type of person that I don't like to let people down. And even if I know there's just one person anticipating me dropping an episode every Wednesday, then I have to drop an episode on a Wednesday, because I know that that person is relying on me. So people who listen to the podcast and give me their feedback, this is for you. I mean, I love doing this. Don't get me wrong, but you're the ones that keep me going. And I'm not trying to cry. I'm really so appreciative for you tuning in and listening to me talk. And it's so crazy because a lot of people don't even like to do podcasts or videos because they don't like to hear the sound of their voice. And I used to be like that, but I'm used to it now. I enjoy the sound of my voice now. And another reason why I wanted to do the podcast too is because I wanted to get more comfortable using my voice, opening up my throat chakra for those of you who are hip. I wanted to get more comfortable with using my voice because I didn't feel like I used my voice enough. I felt like, I didn't use my voice enough. Like I didn't speak up, on certain things, or I didn't articulate myself. So this podcast is really helping me do that. What this podcast has taught me is how to ask better questions. And it really makes me so happy when the people that I interview, most of the time they might say it like on the show, or they'll say it like after I finish recording, but they were like, oh my God, like you asked such good questions. And like, that makes me so happy, because if I listen back to my older episodes, it probably wasn't like that. But these questions are coming now from a place where I know that I have to continue to be naturally curious about everything. So my curiosity is allowing me to go a little bit deeper and ask better questions. So I love that. And what I've learned from the podcast is just that success is not linear. I recently learned this word called sonder, and I think about it all the time. Like I've always had the idea of what sonder was, but I didn't know it was a word for it, because I'm literally always just wondering, like, what is that person thinking, or what is that person going through? It's just the idea that everybody equally is going through the same kind of challenges, the ups and downs in life, just like you are. So that's what I've learned from the podcast too, just from talking to people, is that everybody is going through it, okay? Just like you going through it, everybody's going through it. And it's up to us to choose how we're going to react, to choose how we're going to persevere, push through, to choose not to sit in it for too long, because we all go through it. So that's what I'm learning, or that's what I've learned from the podcast, that Sonder is real. Oh, Sonder is real. And another thing that I learned is that I need a freaking team. Like, I'm doing all of these things by myself, and slowly but surely, everything is coming together. I've learned to just trust the process. Everything is going to happen when it's supposed to happen. So I know I keep saying that I need a team, but when the time comes, like, it's going to come. What I want to share with you today too is just to surround yourself with genuine people who want to see you win just as much as you want to win. I am blessed enough to have some amazing individuals around me. I have to give a shout out to Dayana. I know she's probably listening, but I have to give a shout out to her because she is such a great friend. She's such a great friend. Like, she is the one that reminds me that, no, you need to celebrate yourself. No, you're dope. Like, you need to do, like, just speaking life into me on a consistent basis when sometimes I don't feel like I'm the greatest in the whole world. Just always there for me to just keep me uplifted and always supporting me, always listening to my ideas, helping me flesh out things. Dayana, you're the greatest. I love you so much. But just I have so many amazing people like that in my life, like that just genuinely see me for, why am I getting emotional? who see me celebrating my 100th episode. I didn't even really think about getting to 100 when I said I wanted to do the podcast, but here I am because of the consistency that and the dedication and the decision that I made to just show up. I'm living inside of one of my answered prayers while I'm waiting for the next one. And I have to express gratitude to that. I have to express gratitude to you for, tuning into the podcast, right? 100, episode 100, man. This is so freaking crazy. Thank you so much for your support. I truly mean it. Other ways that you can support the podcast or just support Friends in Beauty for free if you're not already doing it already. Of course, share the podcast with your other friends in beauty, your other friends and family, because even though I have beauty industry professionals on the podcast, I always hear from people outside of the beauty industry how they were still able to benefit from everything that was being said on the podcast. So make sure you just share it. Share the podcast with your other friends and family. All of these things are free. Subscribe to Friends in Beauty on YouTube. I have been killing it over there with my vlogs, so you can get a behind the scenes look at my life, my business, how I'm developing, and how I'm going to transform. Is basically a visual journal at this point, so that I could be able to look back at it some years from now and see the progression of my business and my life over on Friends in Beauty. Leave the podcast a 5-star rating and review so I can know how you feel. Follow Friends in Beauty on Instagram. Join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. All the links for this will be down below. And then additionally, if you're looking for some education to go along with all of these things, and you can join us in the Friends with Benefits Club. We have monthly master classes, a book club, all types of things going on. So I'll leave the link below for that so you can join the waitlist, because we're about to open up again for enrollment. I just been working with my BFFs for the last few months inside of the club, trying to get things tight and right, trying to get a rhythm. So we're about to open that back up soon for enrollment. Also, the Keep It Real challenge is going on right now. It's a 5-day challenge where I'm teaching you how to create a month of reels in 1 hour. That's my exact process that I do when I'm creating my reels. So the challenge is going on right now, but I'm definitely going to run another one for March and continue to do it. So I'll leave the link for that down below, or actually just text me at 202-519-4652. 202-519-4652. Just text me challenge accepted, and I'll make sure that you get the information when we open up again for that March session. And then lastly, what I want to share with you that I said I was going to share, I haven't had any Friends in Beauty events since March 2020, but I am planning to do like some small get-togethers as well. But the thing that I'm really excited about is that I wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of celebrating like my 100th episode, like big, I decided that I'm going to do my 111th episode. I'm going to do it big. If you're into the angel numbers, then you already know what's up. I'm going to celebrate my 111th episode, and it's going to be a live podcast here in Washington, D.C. in April. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because I'm super duper excited about that. And I just can't wait to see some of you all in person again and shake your hands and give you a hug or something, right? So I can't believe I cried. This was like totally unexpected, but cheers to 100 episodes, man. Cheers to 100 more. I can't wait to see who else is going to land on the podcast. I've had so many amazing guests that have just completely blown me away. Super duper dope people, super dope businesses. And I'm rooting for all of you all success and just clarity on your journeys, and just continue to push through. And remember, you are enough. Nobody else, period. It's you all the time. It all comes down to you, all right? So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. Stay connected, stay tuned, because we going up, all right? We going up from here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty. And subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.